"Lake?" demanded Cap, sweeping the northern horizon with his pipe. "I say, is this really your lake?" "Sartain; and if the judgment of one who has lived on the shores of many others can be taken, a very good lake it is." "Just as I expected. A pond in dimensions, and a scuttle butt in taste. It is all in vain to travel inland, in the hope of seeing anything either full grown or useful. I knew it would turn out just in this way." "What is the matter with Ontario, Master Cap? It is large and fair to look at, and pleasant enough to drink for those who can't get at the water of the springs." "Do you call this large?" asked Cap, again sweeping the air with the pipe. "I will just ask you what there is large about it. Didn't Jasper himself confess that it was only some 20 leagues from shore to shore?" "But, uncle," interposed Mabel, "no land is to be seen, except here on our own coast. To me it looks exactly like the ocean." "This bit of pond look like the ocean! Well, Magnet, that from a girl who has had real seamen in her family is downright nonsense. What is there about it, pray, that has even the outline of a sea on it?" "Why, there is water, water, nothing but water, from miles on miles, far as the eye can see." "And isn't there water, nothing but water from miles on miles in your rivers, that you have been canoeing through too? Ay, and as far as the eye can see, in the bargain?"
"Yes, uncle, but the rivers have their banks, and there are trees along them, and they are narrow."
"And isn't this a bank where we stand? Don't these soldiers call this the bank of the lake? And aren't there trees in thousands? And aren't 20 leagues narrow enough of all conscience? Who the devil ever heard of the banks of the ocean, unless it might be the banks that are under water?"
"But, uncle, we cannot see across this lake, as we can see across a river."
"There you are out, Magnet. Aren't the Amazon and Orinoco and La Plata rivers, and can you see across them? Hark you, Pathfinder, I very much doubt if this stripe of water here be even a lake, for to me it appears to be only a river. You are by no means particular about your geography, I find, up here in the woods." "There you are out, Master Cap. There is a river, and a noble one, too, at each end of it. But this is old Ontario before you; and, though it is not my gift to live on a lake, to my judgment there are few better than this."
"And, uncle, if we stood on the beach at Rockaway, what more should we see than we now behold? There is a shore on one side, or banks there, and trees too, as well as those which are here."
"This is perverseness, Magnet, and young girls should steer clear of anything like obstinacy. In the first place, the ocean has coasts, but no banks, except the Grand Banks, as I tell you, which are out of sight of land, and you will not pretend that this bank is out of sight of land, or even under water."
As Mabel could not very plausibly set up this extravagant opinion, Cap pursued the subject, his countenance beginning to discover the triumph of a successful disputant.
"And then them trees bear no comparison to these trees. The coasts of the ocean have farms and cities and country seats, and in some parts of the world castles and monasteries and lighthouses. Ay, lighthouses in particular, on them, not one of all which things is to be seen here. No, Master Pathfinder, I have never heard of an ocean that hasn't more or less lighthouses on it, whereas hereaway there is not even a beacon. There is what is better, a forest and noble trees, a fit temple of God." "Ay, your forest may do for a lake, but of what use would an ocean be if the earth all around it were forest? Ships would be unnecessary, as timber might be floated in rafts, and there would be an end of trade, and what would a world be without trade? I am of that philosopher's opinion which says human nature was invented for the purposes of trade. Magnet, I am astonished that you should think this water even looks like sea water. Now, I dare say that there isn't such a thing as a whale in all your lake, Master Pathfinder?" "I never heard of one, I will confess; but I am no judge of animals that live in the water, unless it be the fishes of the rivers and the brooks." "Nor a grampus, nor a porpoise even? Not so much as a poor devil of a shark?" "I will not take it on myself to say there is either. My gifts are not in that way, I tell you, Master Cap." "Nor herring, nor albatross, nor flying fish?" continued Cap, who kept his eye fastened on the guide, in order to see how far he might venture. "No such thing as a fish that can fly, I dare say?" "A fish that can fly? Master Cap, do not think, because we are mere borderers, that we have no ideas of nature, and what she has been pleased to do. I know there are squirrels that can fly." "A squirrel fly! The devil, Master Pathfinder! Do you suppose that you have got a boy on his first voyage up here among you?" "I know nothing of your voyages, Master Cap, though I suppose them to have been many; for as for what belongs to nature in the woods, what I have seen I may tell, and not fear the face of man." "And do you wish me to understand that you have seen a squirrel fly?" "If you wish to understand the power of God, Master Cap, you will do well to believe that, and many other things of a like nature, for you may be quite sartain it is true." "And yet, Pathfinder," said Mabel, looking so prettily and sweetly, even while she played with the guide's infirmity, that he forgave her in his heart, "you, who speak so reverently of the power of the Deity, appear to doubt that a fish can fly." "I have not said it, and if Master Cap is ready to testify to the fact, unlikely as it seems, I am willing to try to think it true. I think it every man's duty to believe in the power of God, however difficult it may be." "And why isn't my fish as likely to have wings as your squirrel?" demanded Cap, with more logic than was his wont. "That fishes do and can fly is as true as it is reasonable." "Nay, that is the only difficulty in believing the story," rejoined the guide. "It seems unreasonable to give an animal that lives in the water wings, which seemingly can be of no use to it." "And do you suppose that the fishes are such asses as to fly about under water, when they are once fairly fitted out with wings?" "Nay, I know nothing of the matter, but that fish should fly in the air seems more contrary to nature still than that they should fly in their own element, that in which they were born and brought up, as one might say." "So much for contracted ideas, Magnet. The fish fly out of water to run away from their enemies in the water, and there you see not only the fact but the reason for it." "Then I suppose it must be true," said the guide quietly. "How long are their flights?" "Not quite as far as those of pigeons, perhaps, but far enough to make an offing. As for those squirrels of yours, we'll say no more about them, friend Pathfinder, as I suppose they were mentioned just as a make-weight to the fish, in favor of the woods. But what is this thing anchored here under the hill?" "That is the cutter of Jasper, uncle," said Mabel hurriedly, "and a very pretty vessel I think it is. Its name, too, is the Scud." "Ay, it will do well enough for a lake, perhaps, but it's no great affair. The lad has got a standing bowsprit, and who ever saw a cutter with a standing bowsprit before?" "But may there not be some good reason for it on a lake like this, uncle?" "Sure enough. I must remember, this is not the ocean, though it does look so much like it." "Ah, uncle, then Ontario does look like the ocean, after all?" "In your eyes, I mean, and those of Pathfinder, not in the least in mine, Magnet. Now you might set me down out yonder in the middle of this bit of a pond, and that, too, in the darkest night that ever fell from the heavens, and in the smallest canoe, and I could tell you it was only a lake. that matter, the Dorothy,